Welcome back, Foos family, to another episode of On the Table with Chase Pennell. Today we have none other than the one, the only, Mark Torres, coming from you in a cave somewhere in Illinois. Mark, welcome to the show, my friend.
Chase, thanks for the intro. Just hanging out, cave diving, something I like to do. Cave diving while looking at a foosball match and going over it. But appreciate you having me on, man. Thank you.
No, thank you for joining me, dude. There's going to be people in this world, new foosball players, that don't know who you are. I know who you are. I love you to death. You live kind of close to me, and you don't come and hang out with me at all. But other than that, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from right now? Where are you living?
Well, I appreciate you asking. I'm in a suburb of Chicago. Not only will a lot of old foosers not know me, a lot of new foosers won't know me. So there's going to be a lot of people that don't know me. But I've been around the game for a long time. I've been playing since the late 80s. I pretty much quit in the early 90s. But I have a great love for the game and been around it. Commentary with Jim Stevens. So and I've had my run at certain levels of foosball. So yeah.
Definitely would say that you have. We've got a match coming up here shortly where it's going to be you're playing it, and that's kind of part of the show. We want to bring players on and talk about how they did and what they thought they were doing inside of a match, and get them to explain, their thought process, so to speak, on the match and what was going on. So we have a match coming up here very shortly with you in it. It also has some other phenomenal players. I'm not going to give away who those people are just yet, but you're playing with Billy Pappas. He's an incredible player. How do you know Billy?
I always appreciate it.
So I know Billy since, I think it's like 94. I think he was 9 years old. And he was playing in the finals of 3500 Limited. And he lost the finals. Brian Key was his goalie. He was crying. And I put my arm around him. And kind of creepy. I kind of knew him. but I've known him that long, man. I watched him grow up. I watched him groom into the game. And it's funny, I quit playing the game in the mid-'90s, really. Came around, floated around. I wasn't even around the game that much when Billy started winning his open singles championships. Billy and I both quit. We stopped playing, really. This is the match I think you're going to show. Billy and I had no intention of playing together at this tournament. So, I've known Billy for quite a long time. And he's really come into his own in the time I was out of the game.
Oh, wow. Okay, so for people just joining, they've never seen our show before, we have an incredible match that we're going to show here in just a moment that is from, I believe, 2017. You haven't played in how long when this match took place?
I think when we played this match in 2017, I think I've touched the table maybe 2 or 3 times in a 5 to 7 year span. One time was in Shanghai. Momentarily, I touched a table. I think I touched a table in Hong Kong. And then I touched a table at your house.
Okay, yeah. Actually, fun fact, you did come over and train, I'm going to throw in air quotes train, for this event for one night. I mean, maybe 2 hours tops, right?
Let's 2 hours.
That's all that Mark Torres time I'm allowed to have.
And train... When I went to this tournament, I had no partners and had no intentions of playing. So I come to tournaments. I come on a Friday and I get a drink with some friends. I tell everyone I'm staying till Sunday or Monday. I even throw out that I may play, and I never do. I leave Sunday morning every time, or Saturday late. I don't stick around.
So you're just full of lies. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. It's good to know that. It's good to know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, Billy and I show up at this tournament for some context, and I see him there, he sees me there, and we have no intention of playing together. And I tell him, look, dude, if we're going to play together, you're going to drink. We're going to drink. And that's what we do. We drink together this tournament, and it's all for fun. He hadn't played. He quit playing, too, so he's out of practice. I'm out of practice. It's just there to hang out. And
he quit playing about the same time I did, within reason, and that was a long time ago. I'm trying to make a little bit of a comeback. I know you, on the other hand, you just love and enjoy being around foosball and are friends with some foosball players, but you may not be coming back and playing much.
Dude, my whole thing is it's very similar. I show up. I have great friends that are great masters of the game. We have text threads. I tell them it's always the same deal. If I'll play with you, I'll even sponsor you. I'll sponsor you to mitigate my own guilt for not practicing, and you got to drink. Not only that, I control the match. So if I want to play forward, and you, no matter how well you're doing, if I want to play forward, you get in the goal. You get stuck in the back.
So you're the boss.
Yeah, I'm the boss.
All right. Well, very, very cool. All right, so I'm going to start to get us ready, so to speak, for this match that you're about to play. And there needs to be a little bit more of context, I feel like, for this match. Is that,
for sure.
Is that accurate? Sure.
Yeah, let me speak a little bit more about this match. So, one of the things, what I always had early on with the game is I had it between the ears. Like, I don't get intimidated. I've never been afraid to play anybody, and you can get away with a lot of things when you don't have it between the ears. Or when you have it between the ears, you can get away with a lot. Now, at this tournament, 2017 Hall of Fame Classic, I'm completely out of practice. So what I'm missing is skill. I'm missing reactions. I'm missing accuracy. I'm missing execution. So I already know coming into this match, I have to accommodate. I have to compensate with being more cerebral about the game. And if memory serves me, that's what I'm going to do in this match. I'm going to find ways to outthink and outmaneuver, and maybe even a little bit of gamesmanship to help compensate.
I love that. You and I have actually had a little bit of this conversation once before, and I love to use it kind of as like an analogy and try to explain the game of foosball to people. When it comes to like a rookie and a high expert, the difference between them is marginal at best. It's mostly technique, physical skill, and practice time. The difference between a top pro or even a mid-level pro and a pro master, and the word you have used in the past is a chasm. The distance and the space between those two is massive. And it has nothing to do with their physical skill. It has everything to do with what's inside of their head.
That's 1,000% correct, Chase. And the reason why you know that is that at the pro level, everybody has relative skill at that level. And even the pro, who might be 300 points ranked lower than the master, or 500 points lower, but that pro may do some things better than the master skill-wise. But here's how you know that's true. It doesn't matter which era in foosball you look at. 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it doesn't matter what decade you look at. A small percentage of pros actually win. And the pros that win are the true masters of the game. You could slap the pro ranking on anybody who gets to, I don't even know what the points is, 1,800 points these days. I don't know what it is.
I don't know myself.
Doesn't matter. There's a bunch of paper pros. The same way there are a bunch of paper grandmasters in chess, but there are super grandmasters in chess. Just like there are true masters in foosball, those are the guys that have it between the ears and the skill. They got all the pieces. So yeah, it doesn't matter where you look. A small percentage win, and those are the guys that have it figured out upstairs.
Awesome. Well, let's see if you have it figured out upstairs. Let's get into your match. I personally want to see this. It is you and the great, as Jim Stevens likes to call it, the great Billy Pappas versus Tony Spreedeman and Rob Mares. Fourth round in open doubles? Is that correct?
Yeah, fourth round. Let's get the video rolling. But
let's roll the video a little bit.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Action.
This is the fourth round of open doubles. And we beat a rookie team, and then we had Zeke Cervantes and James Castillo, and we wrecked them. Billy controlled that match.
Torres on the right.
We played Dana Marr and Adrian Zamora in the third round.
Ooh, that's a good team.
Number one and quickly.
Tony hit you with the quick pull side.
So he's recognized that was probably dead bar pull side, and he saw it, and he ate it up, and he's testing my defense, and he's finding a huge hole in it immediately.
The top five, I think you'd have to say easily.
And I think he's going to do it again to me.
Never played the game.
And there it is, the other way. So real easy for him right now. He's getting whatever he wants.
Torres over there.
Now, I think I said this earlier. I'm sure I did.
Yeah,
I need to compensate for not the table time, but also not being around. I haven't played a pit match in 20 years, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Except for Pro Doubles final in 05. A couple of Pro Doubles, is that a pit match? This is a real pit match. I mean, it might be on table one, but it's not a pit match.
That's the minimum age.
It doesn't have Billy Pappas, Tony Spreedeman, and Mark Torres on the table.
And the key is going to be for Billy to get the ball.
So that was a
It's
pretty
that
decent
simple.
defense to
Gotta
start
get
off.
possessions against Tony, and he's got to take advantage of.
And we're going to see how often people are
That's not
switching
an
up their
easy thing to do
defenses
when
in a
you're going up
second.
against a guy like Robert Morris. Biggest crowd of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Mahrez is somebody who's super practiced. I mean, he's an incredible player. We all know that. But he's somebody that practices often.
He's a high volume practice player.
Yeah.
Most guys aren't, by the way. But you know, Billy and Robbie are high volume practice players. Billy is the kind of guy who feels. Now I call that timeout. I remember very clearly. Tony got 2 quick ones on me, and I want to try to get some control back in the match. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to go get a cup of water. And I don't care at this point how much time I use, because I'm making this about my time. I want my composure, and I want everyone to know that I'm going to come back to the table and I'm going to give you a completely different look. You are not going to see the same defense from me, and there's a mechanism of it that's internal too. I want control of the match. I want to take back control of the match.
So you're kind of basically trying to change the tempo of the match at this point. You've decided this timeout, said, hey, yeah. I want to change the tempo. I don't like where this is headed. Let's slow this down a bit.
All right. Look at Billy's looking for me. He never knows when I'm going to come back.
Torres,
I typically call timeouts. Maybe 90% of them have never talked to Billy once. Now I have a glass of water. I'm hydrating because I've been drinking all night, which is part of it, believe it or not. This is like a 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. match.
Ooh, that's a little too early.
Lead here in the first game for Tony Spredeman and Robert Morris going along that far wall. What's Spredeman?
So Billy played Tony's 5-bar incredibly well.
Hold on when it comes back.
And it probably served Billy that he'd been out of the game.
Torres, and of course, the key for Mark is simply to clear the zone.
He's not going to see necessarily the new tendencies and get confused by any new tricks. He's going by stuff he knew already, kind of old tendencies to get a couple extra blocks possibly.
Right. So what I'm doing here, Chase...
Is this your first... Wait a minute. Is this your first possession?
That's my second possession.
Your second possession? Okay.
Yeah.
What are you about to do right now? Let's ask. So this is your second possession. Actually, I remember your first possession. You kind of, I don't want to say misexecuted, but you hit the ball, went off Tony's 3-bar. I remember this now.
Right.
What are you planning on doing on this ball? Do you know?
Yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. So I spoke to it earlier. I'm missing the practice time. Not only can I not hit a dead bar pull shot out of goal right now if I wanted to, or I'm likely to misexecute any of the hard spray shots. Really, truly am. What I do know is I could throw off-speed stuff down the lane and off-speed to the middle. I could throw it off-speed because Tony's zone is incredible.
It's amazing,
yeah. He has incredible hand speed, and he's more likely to stuff me if I get overzealous trying to score the ball.
Absolutely.
And this is also just conventional goalie play. What are the holes? What are the easy-to-hit holes off the lane in the middle brush? So watch me use those passes to open up other holes. I'm going to look for the clear to get the ball across the table, but it's off-speed intentionally to throw off his timing.
Awesome.
That's the whole goal right now.
All right, let's see what you do.
Torres are there. First match of the day, going up against a couple of legends. Pressure is on.
All right, pull kick.
Mark responds. He does clear it here and gets it to Billy.
Pull kick's always a great way to clear the ball. There's so many options off the pull kick set.
Yeah, at that time, I'm trying to throw something in the mix, but I know my overall strategy. My overall strategy is off-speed.
It's 3-1.
Over the center.
The moment is not looking good for you. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not doing my job. I got 2 possessions, 2 scores on me, and then a rag gets in.
Pappas shot attempt blocked back the other way where it's
that defense is completely different.
Yeah.
So Robbie gave him defense earlier, blocked him well. Billy got one shot, and then he completely changed it up.
As well back there.
Went into some pretty heavy switching that time.
That was a pull kick pass. So I'm setting up. The first was a pull kick, then a pull kick pass. My goal still is to go off center.
Mostly clearing, more so than attempting to score or getting into trouble.
For sure.
No shooting in front of the goal, that kind of stuff.
Switch would be in order here, perhaps.
So look at that defense.
That's a lot of switching, yeah.
So the first defenses that Robbie gave were completely different defenses, and he got blocks. And then Billy got one in, and then he started giving that defense a totally different defense.
The 2017 Hall of Fame Classic, and hello to everyone watching around the world at netfoods.tv.
Ooh, that's a bit of a mistake, Mark.
I was trying to hit a bank there.
Oh, okay.
And the shot
I was trying to bank it.
That does happen, I've found sometimes with trying to bank on Tornado.
Lead here in the
If you mishit it just a little bit, it can end up on, essentially, it seems like a misexecution then.
Everybody has been anticipating.
So this is a rough start.
Yeah, it's not going your way, man. I'm not going to lie to you.
Be anywhere but number one, folks.
But composure.
It's not going to happen anywhere but here.
If you start getting on a roll, it becomes very, very mental. So what's happening right now is the gamesmanship is just starting. People are just starting to build their narratives, and right now Tony is having his way with me.
Towards the goal by Torres.
That was a pretty decent.
That was a great block because you hit that good.
USA, both of these guys will be there. The dream team.
Last 3 shots from Mahrez, and everything else he's done up until this point has been a clear. He just took 3 very hard shots on goal at you.
And
he's looking to close out this game.
Oh yeah, well, I'll tell you a quick story about Robbie. Let's see what happens here.
That's a great push side.
Again,
hey, Mark, a little clap. You're coming into the game, buddy?
I'm trying to pick it up a little bit. So pause it for 1 second. I want to tell a quick story that the fans listening may love. So Robbie was actually kind of annoyed with me for years. On a Foosball broadcast, Robbie had a thing where if he was up 2 points or down 2 points, he decided he was going to take a risk on goal. So he would shoot over the middle from the 2-bar, or he'd shoot 5-bar shots or quick shot. If he was up 2 or down 2, like methodically, it was automatic. It was practiced, rehearsed, it was scripted. And one year I said that on the Inside Foosball broadcast, and he didn't know I said it. So now all these masters that saw it heard it, and they held it against him. He won tons of matches. I mean, he lost tons of matches because I gave that tell on him.
You gave out too much info.
And so listen, he didn't talk to me about it forever, and unfortunately, he wasn't the person who told me that. He wasn't the person. Someone else told me that, and I didn't think it was proprietary, and I felt badly, and we talked about it, and we figured it out, but it was a thing, and it was a point of contention for a while. Let's watch this match. I think he still does it.
He still does it? All right.
Yeah.
Well, so you're giving out, again, information about a top pro master. I think that's only fair for the lower ranked players out there.
They want to learn.
Tony again able to scoop it up, and he'll look to win game number 1. Shooting against Mark Torres, Tony Sprederman.
That defense is completely different.
Yep.
Even if he gets that one on me, I'm going to build off that. So started off with the standard defense. He got the quick bottom and the top. I gave him something slower, and now I need to build off that. I'm not going to let him continue to drill me.
Okay.
Billy.
Ooh, Billy taking a lot more time that time. He's back. All right.
Sound
that was a tight shot.
That was a very good shot.
I'm sure you all agree. If you've ever been at a tournament,
the great Terry Moore in the background.
Sometimes
there's a lot of great players in the background here.
Yeah, Terry Roos sitting there.
Solid thumping.
Oh, that was a beauty, and that was still not really doing my job. That was a blunder.
Yeah, you should have kept that ball in your zone for sure.
And then down the middle comes Torres to even it up at 1.
That's how you hit a bank.
Far wall bank. Yeah, that was a good one.
Right. Tony's got a smile.
Tony's happy.
Everything's looking good.
Nothing lead for Sprederman and Mahrez. This is a quarterfinal, by the way. The winner will advance to the
semis.
That
5 bars obscene when he has all the options going. He's hitting the wall pass clean.
Well, you think it's such a simple 5-bar, right? He sits still. He's not really doing anything. And he hits the wall and the lane so explosively, and then also has that incredible chip to go with it.
Match yesterday.
I mean,
we watched Billy and Mark play.
It is the purest form.
James Castillo.
It is the purest form of a 5-bar.
Play. Never let the opponent get into it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, no question.
Need Mark a whole lot.
Yeah, Jim Stevens was talking about how
Jim's talking about you, buddy.
I didn't do anything that match with Zeke and James. I don't think I blocked anything that match because Billy dominated that 5-bar on the defense.
On himself.
Well, Billy can run away with a match just like Tony can, or even Mahrez.
Right, these guys are incredible masters.
A player who's more fair, a better sportsman on the table.
Good clear. He should have caught that. You should have blamed Billy for that one.
Infraction.
Yeah. I'm building my case now for how I'm going to clear the ball.
Hold on to
First game has been felt out. We got wrecked essentially.
On the 5.
But now we're going to start. Now we're going to start building our narrative, and that's a theme for me. What is the story you're telling?
Fires it home.
that story right there is Robbie's going to have to change his defense.
Yeah, he's gone into a heavy switching defense. And I don't know that that's what he should be doing against Billy's rollover.
Here, and he does to make it 3-2.
Tony back into his quick shot.
And I think it went off a man.
Tony says, let's give it a try. And
I think it went off a man.
Mara's moving forward.
But you guys are up 3-2.
Yeah.
So
that was the key.
That's a tough break for Tony there.
Mark.
I actually thought about
It's 4-2.
I thought about what it takes to play better at that point. I felt very, very fortunate. That's why I look at the scoreboard that way. That we are lucky to be up 4-2.
And stroking it home.
I mean, that's a big win on that game. I mean, you had maybe a break and a half.
I got one block, I think.
One block. That's a big block.
Maybe 2 blocks. So this is the thing about a master level match.
Put the ball into play.
You got to be able to build off what's happening ball for ball.
It along that outside wall. And
let's take a close look at this defense.
Torres.
That's it right there. I'm going to have you pause this in a
second.
second.
I think if you're Billy Pappas and Mark.
Should we watch that little section again? Because you did something totally different there.
Yep.
That I think might need to be talked about a little.
Right, and that's going to become key. It's probably a little bit too far back, but that's going to become key.
All right. This is ball 1, game 2.
Yeah.
Kind of a game apiece. Tony's
I don't know what I'm saying there.
Play,
so
number 3, and
I do 2 things that I want you to notice, and I will pause it afterward.
Okay.
That right there.
That little bend. I saw it.
That right. See that? Okay. 2 things happen there. I'm going to wake. I'm going to. You can pause it now. I'm going to start making him work. So what I do is I torque the rod and bend the rod down, and then I compress the bumper on the dead bar pull side. And I'm doing something there. So I start off with a standard defense. He drilled me. I did a switch 3-man defense. I got 1 or 2 blocks. And now I'm going to throw in another little wrinkle. I'm going to torque the rod down and bend the rod down, and I'm going to compress the bumper. And what anyone new or anyone who wants to learn about these types of things should be noticing the nuance, the subtlety. All it takes is minor changes to get someone to throw their timing off, to get in their heads a little bit. And we're talking about microseconds and micrometers in space, like millimeters, right? So all you got to do is, I'm going to build off that. Go ahead, Chase. Let's.
So what you're trying to do with your defense, more or less from what I'm hearing, is you're trying to get him to either shoot at something or see something in a different way than he was looking at it before. You're attempting to not just confuse him, but you're trying to get a read on what is he shooting at.
Yes, and I'll tell you, the match that we played to get here was against Dana Marr and Adrian Zamora. I block Adrian pretty well because he's a local guy and I'm used to blocking him, but I do a thing with Adrian. I will give him a standard defense, but then I'll start tilting that man further and further back until it's backward. And it's the same defense, but it's a different look, and it plays with his timing. It plays with his ticker a little bit. And then I can just flick it out there, and he'll shoot longs right into my man. Like a pillow, it just catches it. And it's a thing I've been doing to him, but these are the little nuances in the game. So
just these tiny little changes can make a huge difference. Right. Absolutely. All right, let's jump back in.
Key blocks.
Let's get back on the table, so to speak.
Moving back, Mars moving up. I don't think you need a whole lot, especially if Billy is doing what he's doing.
So he has the
passing
wall, the lane, the angled chip pass, the reverse wall pass, and then every once in a while he throws the brush pass in, and you're just chasing the ball around and you can't.
Tony. 1-1 here in the third in games and in score.
I do know the audio goes a little funny in this match here for a second. There it is again.
Broadband,
The other members of Team USA feel pretty good.
And now, what is he doing? I think he's trying to time that split, and he missed it. But he's having to look longer at the. He's having to look longer at the min. The bend, the rod bend, the compression of the bumper, all that nuance. He's having to think a little bit more, and that's what I want him to do. I want him to think a little bit more.
I had to turn Jim down there a little bit, folks. It gets a little funny with the audio, so we'll. The second that comes back, we'll get Jim's audio back up a little bit. But in the meantime, you get to deal with me and Mark Torres.
So at this point, he's drilled me almost 100%.
Yeah.
I got 3 blocks in a row.
That's a huge thing against Tony. Ooh, that is a beautiful slider.
Yeah.
Good block, by the way.
He blocked me again. Billy did a lot of that block.
Well, Billy's got good hand-eye coordination, right?
Yeah.
He can catch those things.
Trying to catch on my shots.
Torres had to block that aerial. He's able to maintain possession of the ball. So Mark is.
So back to the game plan, right? Back to that. Yep.
There it is.
There it is. Didn't mean to call it out, but
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. Back to the original game plan of hitting those two kind of, that straight pass, that little off speed, into like no man's land, I guess, is kind of a good space there.
It's a tough one to chase if you're as fast as Tony is and you're not looking for it. You're swinging around that one. Billy's getting a lot of possessions as well, so it's serving us. I'm getting a couple blocks, and Billy's starting to pick it up a little bit.
Yeah, he's starting to get a lot of the pickups, the loose balls. That what I like to call is like an X factor, is getting those loose balls and getting a few extra possessions that maybe he shouldn't have had before.
And he puts it into play on the 5. Billy through the lane.
There it is.
Audio's back. We're in good shape.
Yeah.
Looking for a 4-1 lead.
Okay, new defense.
Yep.
Went into the shake.
Right.
I think Billy hit the wall there. I'm
The post.
not 100% sure.
To the left of it, set down the middle by Mares.
So here he is. They're down 2, and Robbie
yeah.
shoots a pull kick.
And then a push.
Right,
Right.
able to pick it up. They're going to call the jar here.
Who do you think caused the jar there?
So did you get me?
I think Tony wouldn't have given it up unless he did.
No, I just meant who. Which individual
Oh,
player?
it's close.
It was
They
either
both-
Mars or Tony.
Yeah, they both at the same time. Yeah, it wasn't me.
3-1 lead here in the 3rd game for Billy.
And honest to God, man, I don't really even know the rules at this point. Like, I
You're
swear,
just rolling with it?
I don't know where the ball goes, if it goes off the table. I don't know. If it goes dead, I have no idea where it goes. I'm not even kidding, dude. Like, I don't know the rules at this point. It's been so long.
That's amazing.
Is it amazing? Is that the right
That's
word?
amazing. Well, yeah, because you're playing a game and you don't even know the rules. And you're playing against some of the greatest players in the world, and you barely know the rules of the game.
So here's the beauty about
There's
Billy,
Torres.
man. This guy can put pressure on anybody, anytime. Like, I think Tony's feeling it a little bit.
You're up 3-1.
That was horrible. That was just bad. That's a bad decision.
Torres again.
It's there. Yeah, that was the brush down to the lane. And I think if I would have hit it better, it would have been there.
Unfortunately, it caused a turnover.
See that?
Oh, but you got a block!
4 blocks.
Huge block, actually.
This game on these last few possessions has been Mark's unpredictability.
There you go.
You're in predictability.
He's not giving Tony the
That's
same
the nice thing about that pass too. It'll go off the 5 bar and come back.
There's something to be said about having even a game plan of being able to just hit the ball in the right way for it to come off of the opponent's 5 bar.
Yeah. You know who's a master of that is Todd Lafredo.
Yeah.
Todd Lafredo will aim at the wall intentionally to build. I mean, that's the guy who could. That's when you can do anything you want. That guy hits the wall intentionally so he can build up to the point where he's going to hit the one he really wants to hit.
Yep.
He does stuff like that. I can never get away with that.
You said it before, Billy's starting to put a lot of pressure on Tony and Mares here. And I think you're right. You can kind of see it in their play. They're getting a little bit tenser, not as aggressive, I guess, is what they were before.
Yep.
The game plan has changed slightly.
Little momentum shift.
And Mares getting back to his actually trying to be aggressive again, doing something a little unsafe.
And Billy
pounds
that one home to make it 4-1.
Billy hits the ball like a Mack truck.
You can see.
Playing for Team US.
You can see Kane saying, "I have no idea where that went." No one.
Anyone does.
It was
Yeah.
blasted.
Billy Pappas in international competition.
That was a deep pull side.
That was a great pull side.
Yeah.
Tony's trying to get focused.
International competition. Billy
Get back
This
into
is big moment right here.
Well, so Billy has been at least as absent as I have been. And now you got Billy Pappas in front of you, 4-time Open Singles World Champion in the span of like 6 years, and that gets remembered very, very quickly. Now you're like, I got Billy Pappas in front of me, and now we're up 2 games to 1. I got like 4 blocks that game. I think Robbie and Tony, like Robbie's shaking his shirt, he's sweating a little bit. You got some dork, Mark Torres, who usually does commentary. Now this is a game changer right here. I will tell you right now what's going on. My wife calls me in the middle of a match. I start FaceTiming with my wife and kids. I FaceTime, and Billy right now is worried that how this is going to affect the momentum of the match. You see him right now shaking his head?
You're FaceTiming your wife and kids right now.
Yeah, my wife and kids are calling me. It was impromptu. It was unprompted.
You're on table 1. You know that, right?
I'm telling them I have to go. I love you. Watch me blow kisses to my family. Now, Tony and I have talked about this moment. He hates this moment. He hates this moment. He feels like he was totally disrespectful. And listen, Tony's great. I think Tony's the greatest tornado player of all time.
Yeah.
Right? Singles for
I think
sure.
it's unquestionable for singles. Look
Look at
at
him.
Tony's face. He's so mad.
He's annoyed. But I'll tell you what, I told Tony this before on the phone. I said, dude, if I ever play you again, I can promise you I'm going to FaceTime my family. I will FaceTime my family.
Game planning.
Yeah.
So the real thing is to call a referee on Mark Torres, so he can't get away with his shenanigans. Is that really the trick here?
I think there's a minute between games. I probably took a minute.
I think it's 30 seconds, or not even.
Torres has played well.
Right, and I got the next block, and Billy would have caught that. It would have been a block and pass. So now I've blocked, I think 5. Well, no, he got one dead bar pull slide on me. But I'm like, I blocked 5 of the last 6 or something.
Wow.
We need Clay. We need Clay.
We need Clay Toomey here, folks.
Yeah.
Somebody get him on the phone. Get him on speed dial.
So what am I doing? I am getting blocks, and I'm laying the ball up for Billy to grab it. That's the whole, there it is. That's the whole idea.
I think there's something to be said, and a lot of people don't realize it when it comes to being a goalie, in my opinion. I myself am a goalie. I think there's some aspects to be... Wow, that pass was incredible. I think there's some aspects to being a goalie that people don't understand correctly. They think their job is to block every shot and to score from the 2-run. I disagree with that greatly. I think your job is to keep out slop and to clear the ball. More so than anything else.
Yeah, agreed. If you could score and score when it matters the most, or save them, right? So the guys that are great save one. They know it's there when they want it, and they take it when they absolutely need it. Other than that, why is it, even when Billy has the ball, how come he's not shooting the dead bar pull shot every time? The reason why is it's too much risk. It's too risky. Why not just do the smart play? And there are other, it's probably not going to be over the center of the goal.
Right.
So...
don't make a gamble unless you have to.
Wow. It is.
Great job.
Billy looking to tie it.
That defense is, but that's more like the defense he gave on the first couple balls.
There's Maris.
This is maybe the 5th or 6th defense we've seen from Maris.
And then he hit the quick one.
1-1.
That's a good way to reset the defense.
Right. It's dangerous when these guys can hit those quick shots on you before they even set up. It's like a guy who could hit the dead bar pull shot on the half second during the pull shot setup.
Pappas loses it and flipped it over.
He almost scored. I think he was trying to time that, but Robbie was in front of it.
Robbie just wasn't having it.
Probably would have scored on me because I'm such a out of practice at this point. Probably would have split my men.
Not like he should have.
There's Robbie.
Yeah.
Robbie shooting over the center. Billy's watching me terrified.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You got tricky with it. You got out of your game plan and turned the ball over.
Right, turn the ball over.
Probably should stick with that series. It had been effective. Spread him with a steal.
Jim's got a good point, but I'm trying to change it up. The rod bend.
Yeah. For a minute there, your defense looked different, but you reeled it back in real quick. You looked like you kind of lost your way for a second there, and then you're like, oh, wait, I remember my defense again. And you did it, and then immediately got that block.
Here's the funny. If you're at this tournament, everybody's feeling the heat, but me. I don't feel the heat. I'm not intimidated. I'm not stressed. You can tell all these guys are starting to feel it. I don't feel it, man.
Wait a second. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So wait, Billy just called a timeout. He got in goal.
Yeah.
I was about to pause it because I'm like, Billy's going to crush this thing. Let's wait a second. But no. You just caught his pass in a back pin.
I told him, I looked up the crowd and I looked at him. I said, I catch them all like that because I'm a ninja.
Stop it.
I'm a ninja. No, absolutely. I'm thinking he's going to crush that thing, and I gotta get my men down as quick as possible. And I incidentally catch it in the back pin, and I'm so stunned. I believe I'm going to call timeout right here. I'm so stunned by it. I'm certain I'm going to call timeout.
I'm going to backtrack this because I want to be clear. Billy just called that timeout, correct?
Yes.
He asked to go in goal.
He was terrified because I wasn't clearing. So he wants to help me out. He's like, dude, you're going to get stuffed. So he decides to go in goal. The most unexpected play ever.
And anybody that knows Billy, he's got an incredible 2-rod. I mean, it's incredible.
Best 2-bar of all time.
Of all time, right?
Best scoring 2-bar of all time.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone on the table, and I'm sure everyone in the stands there, is assuming Billy's about to hit this ball like a Mack truck.
Yes.
Crush it. It's going to go out the back of the goal type thing. Instead, he hits you with a lane pass that you catch in a back pin.
Greatest series in a match of all time. And keep going. Let's see what happens.
All right, let's watch this
position.
again.
Billy, of course, with one of the great two rows the sport's ever seen. But it's a pass.
Dude.
It's so beastly.
Torres
I should have shot that thing, but I didn't.
And now you call a timeout?
Yeah, and then Billy shakes his head like no one knows what's happening. Look at Terry Rue. Terry Rue's pointing at me because he can't believe it.
Wait a minute. Everyone in the background here is laughing at you.
Yeah.
Every one of these people is just like, nope, I'm not watching this. This is insanity. Are you kidding me?
It's hilarious, man.
This is amazing.
And so, hey, man, let's see what happens.
What is the score here right now? The score is 1-1, people. That's how important it is at 1-1.
That's a Federico move. 2 timeouts in the span of 10 seconds.
You better score this.
Will look to give his team the lead.
Okay. Wow, we crushed it. But oh my gosh, are you serious right now? 2 timeouts on 1 ball, 2 plays.
And we're up 2-1. We're up 2-1. That's the most important thing.
It's true. I mean, up against Tony, 2-1.
And
that's a big deal.
4th game.
Oh, and you blocked the quick one.
And that's a blunder on his end. He tried to hit the quick pull shot.
Between Fredeman and Pappas.
Wow.
Yeah, Tony's great with that.
His wall's incredible.
It's stunning. His 5 bar is ridiculous.
And an incredible grab there, too.
So he's starting to mis-execute a little bit.
Yeah?
Everybody there is expecting us to lose, by the way.
Figure it out.
That was a beauty.
I would think so, too. That was incredible middle. I think, everybody should, I hate to say it, they should expect you to lose.
Yeah, I mean,
Billy hasn't played in a decade.
I think it's the number 1 and the number 4 or number 5, the 2 of the top 5 players in the world on the other side of the table who've been playing consistently. Robbie's been playing consistently since '88, by the way. Never taken a break.
Back down the middle.
That's pretty incredible that he's played for that long, not taking a break.
Yeah.
You're the lowest ranked player on the table. Let's be realistic.
Yeah, by a mile. By a mile. And accolades? Are you kidding me? I have nothing compared to these guys.
None compared to everyone else that has a world title under their belt that's on this table.
Mark going back to this series.
So I'm grinning.
Used so effectively.
I'm grinning slyly.
And down the middle, this one taken away.
Ooh, that's a big boo-boo.
And then that got knocked back.
It's 3-3.
And he got the quick.
He's just staring at you.
he's feeling it. So Tony looks up to me to see how it's affecting me, and it's not. It's not. I mean, I don't just. It's a funny thing. It makes me want to play some more. It makes me want to practice and get the skill level back up. And if the skill level matched the head game, that's bad.
That's a huge mistake on 3-3.
Yeah. Might make him pay.
Wow. That's a big deal.
Wow.
You don't see that kind of mistake out of Mares much.
No, not even that often.
It has not been your typical Tony Spredeman.
And now you've got the ball with a chance to win.
I'm just going to try to find that off-speed center. I'm actually I would love to score.
Hang on a second.
I would love to score.
I think Mares just spiked you.
I hope so.
So I went back maybe a little too far, but I just want to see this play out for a second because
that middle is invisible,
that was
and he
sick.
still gets it. Gee,
that was sick.
So good.
But you get the ball here. I think Mares spikes you from his 2-rod.
Tony Spredeman performance.
Let's see here.
Give Mark Torres some credit.
He does. He totally does. He put it on goal too.
Here, Robbie, spike this one.
Up the table and in.
Oh, and it rags in. Wow.
And Mark Torres. I don't
so listen.
If it's Billy Pappas.
Oh, it is an upset. Come on, Jim.
Definitely an
upset.
It's a testament to this. If you have Billy Pappas at your as your forward, he could win with anybody. You know, in my elementary defense, pun intended, just giving someone different looks until you find what sticks, and then continuing to be able to change. Now, one of the big mistakes you see from players is they'll give somebody something and they'll get scored on, and they'll keep doing the same thing. The actual definition of madness: doing the same thing over and over
again.
Be creative. Get outside the box. Torque the rod. compress the bumper, put your min back, give the same defense, and put the min. You hold the min a different way. It's not the same defense at all. It's a completely different look, and I think that's the point of this. Is what does it take? And then they have this glory in shooting over the middle, and that's a great thing. But when is it? If your forward is good enough and you can lay the ball there and give them possessions, it becomes a possession game. And we got the right possessions at the right time. Billy, thank goodness, could score on Robbie very well and passed adequately on the 5-bar. Great match.
Yeah, I truly enjoyed it. It's nice to see the thought process of another player playing goal, playing forward, and understanding why they're doing things. And I think that's the purpose of this whole show, is to show another perspective of what's going on the table. And I think you've brought that to a lot of people that didn't know, maybe the right things to do, especially when you have a forward such as a Billy Pappas. And even if you don't, it's still the fundamentals, the correct way of playing, and the right way to think about things when you're going into a match that just eliminate the mistakes.
I'll tell you, I'll add to that, Chase. For the player up and coming, that's a beginner, novice, and even low pro level, and you spoke to this earlier about the gap or the chasm, if you will, the metagame, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the game within the game. Because as I was sitting there trying to get in Tony's head, and he's trying to get in my head, trying to figure out my defense, Robbie and Billy are playing the same game on their end. Absolutely. And it's happening between Tony and Billy on the 5-bar. And when you start getting there, it's a really rich, wonderful experience, competitive foosball, when it's the game within the game and playing in that space and elevating all the depth. It's a rich, fun, way more exciting game, and everyone can get there. They just need some time to develop, and hopefully shows like yours where you can banter, converse, talk about the analytics, get tactical, and have fun. These are the types of exchanges that players get better.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. And maybe people don't realize I have a YouTube channel where I try and teach people how to play foosball. I have a whole Road to Pro series based around this concept of getting better at foosball. And originally, I created it as a very selfish way to not having to repeat myself over and over again, but it has developed into this thing to where I love foosball so much that I want the rest of the world to get better at it. And I feel like you and me are trying to take a step towards that now with this show, and trying to help the foosball player become significantly better. Sorry to the other pro masters out there in this world. I do want them to compete against you. I want to see these new names and new faces. I want foosball to come to the next level so that we can see what happens on the table.
Well, it's been a great time, Chase. Thank you. And absolutely, your YouTube channel is amazing. And Road to Pro, people got to check that one out. It's a good time.
Mark, before we sign off, what shout-outs do you got for me? What's going on right now, buddy?
I got shout-outs to Inside Foos and a community that's building around Inside Foos, and friends and family that love the game. Things are getting better for foosball after a long time, believe it or not. And there's so many exciting things happening. So I just want to let everyone know that shows like these are going to become more produced, developed, and promoted. And you're going to see more advocacy around foosball. So shout out to everyone in the foosball community. We're a small but mighty family, and we're getting bigger and starting to do more and more creative things. And guys like you, Chase, are the tip of the spear.
I can only hope that becomes the truth someday. Well, Mark, thank you so much for being on the show. Everybody watching at home, thank you so much for tuning in. And everybody, happy foosing.
Happy foosing.